Hello, and welcome out to another episode of the Nerd Effect Podcast. Gentlemen, we have reached double digits.
Yay! And there was much rejoicing.
Wow, that was completely unscripted, too. Yes, we're on episode number 10. And, the hell's today? 14th?
Yes.
Welcome to the 14th, gentlemen. 10 more days till my birthday.
Yep.
I'm going to turn 31.
Gonna get old, Dustin.
Yes.
You old bastard.
But that's not where we're here. We're here.
No, we can make fun of him next week for that, especially since hopefully Jake will be here to add to it.
Yes, Jake will. Yes, that's, let's go around the table. I am one of your hosts, Dustin VanCour. I am joined by two lovely cohorts. I'm going to get that word right one of these days. Cohorts.
Michael Morgan.
And Mason, Ireland.
And Jake cannot be here today. He kind of got called into work due to some scheduling issues, and I think he also has a buddy who has... Well, that was the reason yesterday. And today he has a buddy who has a birthday that he had to attend to. So, unfortunately, he's not here tonight. Yeah, he's kind of busy. He's ever since he moved into his new apartment. So, we're going to try and do a little change up on the show. Normally we would do the emails at the end of the show. We're actually going to start doing them at the beginning. That way we can get them out and you guys can get your voices heard right at the front. But unfortunately, we don't have any email to read. So I'm actually going to bring you guys some updates for the show. Some of you guys may have noticed recently that there has been a logo change designed by our one and only, not one and only, but...
Nikki is the one and only.
Yeah.
Our one and only Nikki. Not necessarily our one and only superfan, which is what I was going to go with.
No,
but
she is the one and only Nikki Prindle, though.
Yes, she is the one and only Nikki Prindle, and she has designed the new logo that you see before you on the website, which is super awesome. You'll also see it on all the different social media websites that we're on, including Twitter and Google+. Other things that have been added, we added some social plugins to the site. So on the right bar of the site, you'll see that there's a couple 4 links that will take you to our RSS feed, Twitter, Facebook, and Google+. And now on the bottom of all the posts, there are share buttons too, so you can share it to whatever social media network that you feel like you want to share it to. There's a god-awful bunch of options. I'm not even going to list them off, but definitely all the primary ones that are there. And there's even ones like Stumble Upon and Twitter and stuff like that. You can all share there as well. The other thing we're looking into is expanding our listener base. So we can do. We're going to try and get the feed onto some other places like Mixcloud. I was actually have a buddy named Max Bat who, when I had asked about how we can expand our listener base, he said, I kind of work for the TuneIn app. Send me your feed information. I'll get it over to him. We'll try and get you listed as a podcast on the TuneIn app, which is really cool. And the other one is possibly YouTube. We want to do YouTube as well. Just the issue with that being is that it takes a while to render a video versus just audio. So, and then the upload to YouTube itself also is kind of a bitch. And that takes a while to upload as well. So, as we get time, we can definitely do that. And we'll definitely look into doing that in the future as well. So, that's the site news. Hope you guys are all excited about that, because I sure as hell am.
Hell yeah.
Yes, I am. I'm very excited about it.
May potentially get to use some of my animation skills.
Yes.
I like it.
Mike here, just before we started the show, was talking about how we can possibly animate the logo for us so that we can use it as our YouTube intro, which is way awesome. I look forward to seeing where that goes.
Bam.
And shall we go over to the news?
Yes, we should. It is news time, boys and girls.
Okay, so here we go. Let's start with the news. Up first, let's just start with something simple real quick, get it out of the way. As most of you know, we broadcast our podcast out of Boise, Idaho. And we have one hometown hero who you've all seen on Breaking Bad. Plays Jesse Pinkman. Mr. Aaron Paul was recently here in town. They did a little documentary about it while he was here. It's just kind of a cool thing, especially for being a local Boise boy, being born and raised here. I remember seeing Aaron Paul the first time on Whatever It Takes, which was very, it was one of those high school comedy type movies when it first came out, and he played like the quirky friend. I remember there was a scene in it where him and his buddy are sitting in the computer and he's like chewing his nails and he's waiting for a porno image to download on a 56K modem, and it's just like,
oh god,
did it, and he's just like, come on, just sitting in his garage or whatever. And obviously Breaking Bad has definitely been the one career choice for him that has kind of skyrocketed him into the next atmosphere.
Yes.
As far as that goes. Did you know he's going to be starring in the Need for Speed movie?
Oh.
Which I thought was kind of really... You're going to go from Breaking Bad to a video game movie. I love you, buddy, but...
And just because you're in a video game movie doesn't mean your career will tank. It just means the movie will be at.
Yeah, which, it only reflects on the people that are in it. Hopefully it's not just a poorly made video game movie, and B, it's not a Fast and Furious ripoff.
Oh, I thought it was going to be a Fast and Furious ripoff because it's a game about car theft and car racing.
Yeah.
So it's Gone in 60 Seconds meets Fast and the Furious. Because they steal the cars and then race the cars.
Well, then hopefully we'll see some of that.
And the thing is, I like the Fast and the Furious movies. So
Movies or the games?
Fast and the Furious, the movies.
Oh, Fast and the Furious. I'm sorry. I
like Need for Speed games, too, because I, for some unexplicable reason, like racing games.
See, and I can't... Unless it's an arcade-style racing game, I can't get into it. I can't get into Gran Turismo or any of those, any of the sim racing games.
I like the sim racing games because I enjoy tuning out the cars and all that.
Yeah, you can tune out the cars in arcade-style games, too, but...
Not like you can in the sim ones.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
But Need for Speed is more arcade-style, so I
Right.
can do that. And that's a... but yeah, Gran Turismo, I can't do it. That's just an investment I'm not willing to make. Again, this guy right here before you, instant gratification when it comes to video games. I have almost zero patience when it comes to puzzles and stuff like that. I do like puzzles and games and stuff like that. We're totally off tracking here, derailing this conversation, but whatever.
Yes. I like blowing cars up.
And Mike likes blowing cars up.
So that's more of a Twisted Metal.
I was thinking Grand Theft Auto. But...
Or GTA, yeah.
Well, GTA. Oh, man, I forgot the name of it. There's one where your whole goal is to crash the cars.
Oh, Burnout?
Burnout, yes.
Yeah, Burnout's really fun, too.
Lots of time on Burnout.
There's actually just a mode
Always
for that,
wanting to
too.
take out the bus, so you get that huge-ass amount of points for taking out the bus.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and then the Driver. Driver was a really fun game where you play an escape driver.
Again,
for hire.
Cars and Criminals. It's like a lot of racing games revolve around the people you're technically playing in the game being criminals, unless it's like Gran Turismo or Forza, where their game is all about tuning the car and racing.
There was a...
Again, we're still off topic.
Yeah. But there was a game for the regular PlayStation that Jake and I played religiously back. Well, I played it more religiously, I think, than anything. But it was just it was just called Destruction Derby, which was Demolition Derby style game where you just. I think it had a racing mode, but who the fuck ever played racing mode in a Demolition Derby game? So basically, all your cars start in a ring shape in whatever arena you're in, and you just gun it towards the middle and hope you come out of it, and then you just try and be the last car standing.
Yep.
It's pretty fun. Anyway, Aaron Paul, we love you. Thanks for coming back to Boise. Well, anyway, long story short, he was back in Boise to do one of the viewings for Breaking Bad before the series finale. They did it down at the Egyptian Theater downtown on the red carpet. He hung out with all the fans and shook hands and said hi to everybody because he knows he loves it here. He was even talking about, and I'll link it. It's the video that I can't remember. Basically, whatever alcohol company was sponsoring it, I can't remember the name of it off the top of my head, but Bush Mills. So Bush Mills did a video called "Breaking Boise," and it was just a short video about 5-6 minutes long about him coming back to Boise and how he loves Boise so much. And he's like ever since he moved out to L.A., he's like in Boise, he's like you could literally stick your arm out the window and wave to somebody and say hi to them, and chances are you probably know them, type of thing. And whereas in L.A., if you did that, people would look at you like you're crazy. So. And I've always described Boise as like the biggest little city. It's constantly growing. We got so much stuff going in right now. It's not even funny. Boise, I think, in the last 10 years has expanded like more than it ever has, and that's going for Meridian too. Because anybody who travels down Fairview, the line between Boise, Meridian, Nampa, and Caldwell just kind of gets really blurred.
Yes.
Yeah.
So.
It's being absorbed into the conglomeration.
But it's being done in a tactful way, in my opinion. I think, especially downtown Boise, because it's not... Boise hasn't been one, in my opinion, to sacrifice its culture for commerce, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
They've always been pretty art-oriented. Even all the graffiti artists in town, they don't... like they did the electrical boxes you see on all the... corners of the big buildings and stuff like that. The city was like, well, that's cool. Just leave it. Looks awesome. It doesn't take away from the look of the city at all. I mean, either that or have a big gray steel box just sitting on the corner of your street. But instead, you got cool pictures of paintings of fish and some kind of cool faces, especially the one on the corner of the Wells Fargo building downtown. That one's pretty dope. But anyway, that's why I love Boise. And Aaron Paul is a good representation of our city. Thanks for bringing it up. Thanks for making Boise awesome. So anyway, that was quick. At least I tried to make it quick.
That wasn't anywhere near quick.
No, it wasn't. I am sorry. Up next, we'll do Mike's here. Mike, explain to us positive nuclear fusion.
Yeah. So basically, the world's first net positive nuclear fusion reaction occurred. Probably a lot of people wondering why. So basically, for me, it's a big deal because
Mike got all super villain on us earlier. Yeah. It was pretty funny.
Yeah, but basically, positive nuclear fusion is like the holy grail for limitless power. If they can get this technology working on a, actual real-world basis, on a normal basis, then the world energy problems are basically solved right there. Let's end of story about that. So basically, what they did is they had a nuclear reactor somewhere. I'm trying to find where that was again. Oh my God, where was it?
National Ignition Facility. I think they just said United States. I don't think they actually said anywhere in particular.
Yeah, I think you're right. So, okay. So basically, National Ignition Facility in the United States used 192 beams from the world's most powerful laser.
The world's most powerful laser, not just our country's.
A huge laser ring the size of 3 football fields. I want. And use it to heat a compressed tiny capsule of hydrogen fuel to the point where the nuclear fusion reaction takes place, which is about 3.3 million Kelvin, or 9.5 million degrees Fahrenheit.
5.9.
Yeah. During their experiments, they actually had more energy being released than it took to actually power the fusion reaction. So this is the first time in human history that we've had a fusion reaction producing more power than it took to actually create the reaction, which is a phenomenal step. Obviously, at this point, it's nowhere near feasible to
Right.
as a means of energy production.
But yeah, okay.
Yeah, but it's definitely a huge step, and basically them being able to refine this type of fusion reaction is going to be just a huge impact for the whole planet. And
Well, I think the obviously the bonus to that is if once we can contain that reaction and actually keep it going, there's no end to in sight for.
We've made a mini sun.
Yeah.
effectively.
Well, the sun's eventually going to burn out.
Yeah. Oh, eventually any fusion reaction will too.
That's true. But I mean, the idea of though, I mean, if you could
they
use
can
something
just
like
put
that
a
to
new
like
fuel cell in it. This
Yeah.
one, so yeah,
Right.
So that's damn cool. I mean, that brings us closer to things like spaceships and further space travel without having to worry about using rocket fuel and stuff like that. I mean, if you could contain a small version of that. I mean, think of what... it's funny because for one of the first things I thought of was in Star Trek Next Generation, when you go to the engineer room, there's that giant reactor in the middle of the what they call them, a quantum reactor or something like that. I can't remember.
Dilithium reactor.
Dilithium reactor. But I mean, it's just a small, small relative on scale, but it's a small reactor that powers the ship. I mean, and that is damn cool. And obviously, it'll never. There's no fear of it ever losing energy anytime soon. So, and it powers the ship for duplicating food.
Yep.
And that's two things we've brought up on this show that I can think of. We brought up food replication once, I think, and now this. Three, and we talked about telecommunications with the badges.
Yep.
So, yeah,
Yep.
Star Trek people. So it's near reality.
It's step by step. It's getting there. Oh, and if anybody wants to know what my Christmas list includes, 192 freaking lasers. Yeah, just consider that on the list now.
They have to be on the same power level, or could I just buy you 192 laser pointers?
I'd settle.
It's like, I'm sure if you focus them all on one spot for an extended period of time, I could probably get something started.
It's just, how am I going to get 192 people to hold the laser, or 191 people? Sorry, got to count myself in that, to hold the other lasers so we can all point them at the same spot. But still, yeah, I'd settle.
Why would you do people though?
Well, you got to push the button.
Why wouldn't you just use a clamp?
Okay, so I'll need 191 clamps. It's boring.
Well, you're also going to guarantee that they
Be all
get
by
aimed at the same spot.
myself in my apartment with 192 laser pointers catching fire to the whole place.
And 192 cats to chase them.
Or one schizophrenic cat.
Yeah. Oh my God, I don't know what to do.
Oh my God.
And then it runs to the center of said laser pointers and then goes up in flames. Poof.
God, she would too. Okay, enough of that insanity. What do we got next?
All right. Again, another kind of quick thing. We've been touting Samsung's awesomeness lately. Now to bring into Samsung, I love you. I swear to God, I do. But we're gonna bring in the trivial. Curved phone. Samsung recently in Korea released basically a curved version of what looks like a Note.
Yes.
It's about the same size as a Note. It's just got a curved screen. It's got some minor functionality upgrades to it, like you can tilt it up to activate the screen real quick to see what time it is. You can use the tilt function to kind of kick back and through photos and music and stuff like that. Whatever, to be honest with you. I'm not sold on that quite yet. The ergonomics of it is pretty cool. I mean, because it'll probably fit in your hand nicely. Cases kind of confuse me. Like how? I mean, you could mold a case, I guess, that way. But
Yeah, like you design it like any other case. That's not a case. Isn't that big of an issue for it? I don't think.
Yeah, pretty much all the cases now are for specific models of phones.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I guess, but I'm just saying now you're gonna have to create. It's not just a rectangular mold anymore. You're gonna have to curve it out and.
Yeah, totally doable for a
Yeah.
manufacturer, stuff like that. Though that's not the tilt functions of it. Okay, it's neat using the accelerometer to do that. I don't think that's really that. I mean, I always appreciate the fact that Samsung, unlike a lot of other manufacturers, is willing to try new stuff and innovate. I don't think this one's going to take off, except for possibly one reason. When you hold the phone up to your face, you don't get face scuzz all over the screen of your phone.
You think that's going to be the selling point?
That's how I would try to sell it to people.
Is it worth?
No, I get a lot of face scuzz on my phone.
Is it worth 1,015 of your U.S. dollars for that feature of not getting face scuzz on your screen?
No.
Yeah, I got a T-shirt.
'Cause that's
I can take care of
exactly-
that.
Yeah, $1,000 for the phone. Wow.
That's exactly what it's going for U.S. currency. They said it's 1 million Korean won.
Yep.
So that equals
Basically 1,000 won to the dollar,
Yeah.
roughly.
So runs Android 4.3.
Jelly Bean. Yeah.
They don't know when it's going to go on sale in U.S. or UK. Probably not till they drop the fucking price.
Well, actually, if you look at the full price of a cell phone, that's not that expensive because a lot of cell phones are over, like for smartphones, are over $700 retail if you buy them without a contract. So if you're buying it with a contract, it's going to be considerably less, just like on any phone you buy with a contract.
That's true, I guess. I don't know. I would just like to see how it pans out. Again, yeah. They need to. I'm sorry. You just need to come to the table to me with something more than a curved screen, with some minor functionality to really convince me.
I'm not convinced of it either, but I appreciate the fact that Samsung, unlike a lot of companies, is willing to experiment with stuff.
That's true. I mean, they have options. I think what their biggest goal was too is that LG also holds a patent for flexible screens.
Yeah.
So they probably just tried to beat them to the table real quick before LG could release anything.
Yeah, but they both have their own independent flexible screens. So.
Right. But again, if you're going to try and get something out on the market quick,
yeah,
that's probably the best way to do it. Is just throw some minor functionality in it, make it look cool, which
right,
Samsung's really good at doing.
Here, new phone. It's got a flexing screen. See?
Yeah, and I mean, in this
cool. It's cool. You want it. You buy it. You buy it now.
And in this particular video, in this article, they actually have the video posted from CES 2013 when they were actually demonstrating the flexible screen, the OLED screen.
Yeah.
And like I thought from the last conversation, it has Ice Age on it. I knew it had Ice Age on it. So, again, I think there's a lot of possibilities with the flexible screen. I hope
just making a curve out of it is not, I don't think, enough.
Yeah, me either. But I think that there's other possibilities out there too. Think of like what you can do with computer monitors. Like you could create a full, like more than widescreen display. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like you could have the extent of 2 or 3 monitors on one screen.
Yeah.
Using that
without
interface.
any break, because even on the ones that are currently like that, you can see a bit of a break between the individual screens. Actually, what I was thinking would be cool is a long time ago now. Back actually before the iPad came out, Microsoft was playing around with an idea of a iPad-like device. They canned the entire
Surface?
Not the Surface.
Okay.
This one folded open like a book and had 2 screens. And part of the software thing you could do was flick stuff between the screens, basically over the spine. Mm-hmm. So you can have different stuff. You have the 2 screens doing different purposes for you at the same time and things like that. I thought it was a really interesting concept. It looked good. One, it was stylistically, it looked good. 2, I thought the functionality was neat because you could have like a page of a book open on one side and you could be using handwriting recognition on the other to take notes, things like that. Mm-hmm. You could have one open surfing web pages, and then you could grab images off of the web page and flick them to the other page, like if you're saving them, for whatever reason.
Okay, I'm still this is based on curved screen technology. It still sounds like you're talking 2 screens.
I'm getting to that.
Okay, sorry.
But actually with the flexible screen more correctly than the curved screens.
Right. Sorry. Yeah. Flexible.
But now, you could have something that could basically, if they can fold the screen in half, I don't know if they can fold it completely.
Yeah, without putting a nasty crease in
without
it.
putting a crease in it. Because if it can fold in half without getting a crease, or close enough that you can make it so it can close and have like a little gap in behind it when it's closed, so it can bow out a little bit or whatever. You could make much larger tablets that fit into much smaller spaces. Like you could take like a 17-inch widescreen and fold it in half. So you could have a much wider area to work with on things like that, which I think that would probably be, if it's possible with the flexible screens, probably a better way to go than worrying about something as small as a cell phone.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And we've seen things too. Like there was oh man, who was it? I think it was LG. Was also talking about releasing a flip tablet phone, or basically it was a
smartphone,
a flip droid.
Yeah, a flip Android phone that had. Was it? They were talking about doing one screen?
It was just two screens,
two screens.
on both sides, like almost like a Nintendo DS. Like the top was your function, like all your apps and stuff, and the bottom was like all your. Only you'd actually be able to touch both sides, whereas DS you can't.
Right.
But all your executables and stuff like that, all your shortcut bars down at the bottom, and then on the front was like when it's flipped closed. On the front was just a regular readout. I don't think there was anything special about it.
Yeah, if they can make it so it's one solid screen and basically to help make things smaller in my pocket, cool. But if you're cutting things in half to make multiple screens to do that, nah.
And that's the other thing about the curved phone too, is that if you put it in your pocket, screen facing your leg, it's going to be way more comfortable in your pocket too.
Yeah.
Which that honestly could sell me, because I mean, having a brick in your phone can be, or in your pocket can be a little discerning sometimes.
Yeah. There's a reason I took the case off of my phone.
Yeah. I
will never take the case off my phone, no matter how. I buy the lowest profile case I can find, and then that's what I use. I don't mind my case. It works fine.
Well, something else too. I mean, with the flexible screen, you can basically have a tablet that rolls up like a scroll.
Yeah.
So you basically got a small tube you can fit in your pocket and carry your tablet around like that. And when you're ready to use it, you just open it up, unroll it, and you're good to go.
Yeah, and have all the processing and everything be in the tube, basically, still.
Mm-hmm.
That would be ridiculously cool.
Yes, it would.
Yes, it would.
Completely unnecessary, but be cool.
What is this unnecessary you speak of?
Oh.
I would be like running at Samsung if they did it, going, take my money!
Throwing your wand at them, which you can take that however you want to.
I'm going to take it as money.
Yeah.
You would.
Would Samsung sue us if we assaulted them with money? Probably, because then they can get more money. Never mind.
By the way, I swear to God, if I see another post about Samsung dropping off a bunch of nickels in
oh, yeah.
That is a hoax, people. It's not real.
It would have
hilarious.
Been it's hilarious and would have been epic, but unfortunately they didn't.
I still see it about once a month. I seem to see that article float around, and it's like people just haven't snoped it yet to figure out whether or not it was fake or not. But yeah, it's fake, people. It'd be beautiful if they did, but fake. I think they should do it just because the article said that. It's like, that's fucking genius. Why didn't we think about that? But anyway, I guess they gotta remain professional. Okay, and last but not least, we finally have seen some video feedback on ye old Steam controller. Mason, would you care to elaborate on this for us?
Oh my God, it's awesome.
Done.
Yeah.
Scene.
Really kind of have to watch the video to really get it.
Which will be in the show notes.
But...
And it's already on the page.
Yeah, but there's...
Facebook page.
Yes.
Sorry, go ahead.
Shut up,
continue.
But it, like, I was a little concerned about how it would work at first, if the mapping would work well, and they showed it on 3 completely different types of video games. A first-person shooter, well, Portal 2, just for the general functionality, CSGO for precision, and then also and then two other game, and then Civilization 5, for using it on a sim game, and then on a indie game called Papers, Please, where you have to it's a lot of very detailed mouse control, but you also need to be able to go over your full screen. And
I think they also had it on a first-person shooter, the
CS:GO, Counter-Strike Go.
Oh, Jesus, okay. Sorry, I'm not acronym friendly very well, so.
And it worked really well on all the different types of games. I'm sure the person had some practice, but whenever you pick up any kind of new controller of any type, there's going to be a learning curve. So, yeah, I was rather impressed with how well it was working, and that was just none of the games were modified to work with the controller. They were all just mapped from keyboard and mouse controls.
The one-to-one tracking with the mouse on the right side was just mind-blowing. Like, if there was ever any argument about console gamers not being competitive with mouse and keyboard players, especially when it comes to first-person shooters, it will level the playing field, I think, in my opinion. Mason doesn't want to hear that, I'm sure, but
well, two things on that. One, it depends on how much of a DPI it can track.
I think it was oh man,
because my mouse is a 5600 DPI mouse, and it's not the fastest mouse on the market anymore. They have like 8,000 DPI mice. So you have to consider how responsive of a mouse it can emulate, basically.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's the big one. And then having the D-pad on the other side doing WASD. Mm-hmm. The big thing would be the ability to circle strafe. So if I can basically press at 10 o'clock or 10:30 really on the mouse pad to hit both up and left to circle strafe left while using the mouse to keep myself turning to stay in the circle strafe, that would be one of the big things there. If it doesn't allow you to basically do multiple D-pad presses or multiple, hitting multiple keys of the WASD cluster simultaneously, that would be the big thing. If you can do that, it's going to definitely lower the edge of the mouse and keyboard in first-person gaming by replicating being a mouse and keyboard. Mm-hmm. That's one of the things is that it's the aim of this controller is to replicate a mouse and keyboard as closely as possible. So, and I think they're doing a really good job with that. So it's pretty nice to see the different types of games that can be played. You could, from the look of it, there's definitely you're going to be able to play just about any type of game with it. And I'm really kind of digging the way that controller is set up and looking how it's going to work. So
yeah, the only thing I was sad to not see was the high def screen in the middle of it, because I know it's just the prototype controller at this point. But I really wanted to see that center.
I'm sure we will before they come out, but
what is? It still looks good.
Yeah.
Sooner or later, it'll come out there, and we'll be jizzing ourselves all over it. We know.
That was about you and jizz.
What? Jizz is funny. That's
it
good
is
comedy.
funny. It's a funny word too.
Yes.
Jizz.
It's fun to say. Let's all say jizz. Mason's not saying jizz. I should probably stop with the jizz now, huh?
Yes.
Sperm? Well.
No.
At least I went scientific. Come on.
So wait, are we done with news?
Yeah, I think that's it for the news.
Okay.
Do we really just end the news segment on an ejaculation joke?
Yes, you guys did. I am claiming no responsibility.
Okay. All right. For the rest of this month, we are going to theme it out for the season that's coming up. My favorite season, All Halloween, All Hallows Eve, and
Samhain,
zombies, ghosts, spirits, stuff, supernatural, and hooker variations of every costume known to man.
Yay!
Yay!
Best holiday ever.
So
I would like to point out I do not want to see the hooker version of Doctor Who. I'm just going to put that out there.
no, but I'm guessing they make a sexy version of Amy's police outfit.
That was
Sexy
called Amy's police outfit.
It was sexy to begin with,
That's
yeah.
it was from the
So-
beginning. It was a kissogram though thing, right?
Yeah.
That's what
Yep,
it was.
yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
True.
And I've already seen pictures of sexy TARDISes, so I can't say anything about that because those already
There's
exist.
some pretty elegant TARDIS dresses out there
Yes.
made by individuals that are not just. I mean, they're not hookerish, but I mean,
Well, I've
they're-
seen hooker versions too.
Yeah. But there's some really cool ones out there. I think one of the coolest ones I've seen was where they had made it so that the front of it actually unvelcroed from the front, and it actually looked like the inside of the TARDIS
Nice.
from the inside of the dress. It was pretty cool looking. Like they just had the fabric printed for it or something like that. So,
But that is awesome.
yeah, it was super cool. But anyway, we're gonna start this one with
Aliens.
I hope you guys like my cool little sound effect. This is a $100 mixing board with the sound effects thing in it, so I wanted to put some use to it.
Damn it, he was going to play with it.
Yes.
Yeah.
So enjoy that one. So we're going to talk about extraterrestrials, life on the life beyond Earth and stuff and things. Well, maybe we'll go into spaceships and Area 51 and
Yeah, we really don't have a plan for this one.
No,
Yeah.
I just want to talk. I'm interested to see how it pans out. Like if there's any experiences or anything like that. Maybe not between us, but maybe that was a question I should have. Let's do this. Check this out. You ready?
Yeah.
All right. See, this is what I'm doing right now. I'm going to go to our Facebook page
Yes.
right now. Da-da-da. We are recording our show right now. It's totally professional, by the way.
Oh, yes.
We're talking about aliens. Yes. Little green / gray men from other planets.
Ack.
Or whatever alien you prefer. Give us your thoughts and opinions now, and we'll bring them up. Live long and prosper. To stick with the Star Trek theme. Post. All right. It's up to you, fine people. You're going to make or break this show.
We're doomed. No, wait.
So I'm going to leave I'm going to leave our Facebook page up right now, and I'll just kind of monitor the post as we talk, and we'll bring up stuff as it comes along. So hopefully we'll get at least 1 or 2 responses before the night's over.
But we will see.
Aliens. Mike, you seem to have been mentally prepared for this all day long.
Well,
You wanna kick us off?
So, well, when it comes to aliens, the biggest thing about it for me is that with as many stars are out there in the universe that we know of,
Mm-hmm.
and the fact that we're actually starting to find that a lot of these worlds have planets. Now that we know what to look for, the little wiggle thing, because the planet's pulling on the suns, and they kind of know what to look for now. I mean, they're getting like dozens and dozens and dozens of planets they're finding all the time now.
That are life capable?
No,
Or just
we
in
don't
general?
know for certain life capable. Some of them,
Goldilocks planets are like, I think it's like 1/10 of them or something like that. It's not significant, but it's not insignificant either. It's closer to being insignificant, but they are finding a decent amount of Goldilocks planets.
Yep. And well, the thing is, I mean, statistically speaking, we're only be able to see the wiggle on the closest stars. So the stars that are further away, we have to assume are getting the same percentage of planets on them. And just statistically speaking, it's almost impossible for there to not be some form of life out there somewhere. I mean, just running the numbers.
Well, we have, correct me if I'm wrong, I'm totally speaking from memory here, but we had found some sort of maybe possible past life that may have been on Mars, or the possibility of life
Correct.
on Mars. Maybe at the microbial level.
Right. There's two parts to that. One, we have found evidence that there was probably, at one point in the distant past, liquid water on Mars.
Correct.
There is currently water ice on Mars at its polar caps. It's not just water ice, it's also carbon dioxide ice, if I remember correctly, mixed in with it. But there is ice, and there was at one point liquid water on Mars. The other part of it is they have found in samples of Martian rock and soil possible fossilized microbes, basically bacteria. So there could have been at one point life on Mars.
See Doctor Who episode Waters on Mars.
And then also on Earth, we have found bacteria that are not carbon-based, they are arsenic-based. So carbon is not the only element that can now verifiably be used as the main chain for proteins to create life from.
Mm-hmm.
So that gives us a lot of variation. Plus, if you look at the periodic table, if you look at the vertical columns, the column with carbon in it, that whole column that includes carbon likes to attach to other molecules. So there could be, because I know lead is in that same column, there could be lead-based organisms.
Heavy, man.
Yes. But so there's a lot of other elements besides carbon that could spawn, for lack of a better term, life. Of course, as humans, we are looking in a range for planets that are similar to Earth, because we still have the dream of possibly reaching out into the stars someday.
Well, we got to figure out something within the next 5 bill.
Yeah, I mean, 5 billion years. We're running out of time. So it is. So we are looking at a very specific range of planets, like as I was referring to earlier, Goldilocks planets, as we call them. Not too hot, not too cold, just right. Mm-hmm. For humans. Other life forms don't necessarily need to play by the same rules as we do. However, two things I heard from physics professors I had in college, who were both happened to be astrophysicists, one of whom worked for NASA, besides being a professor, was...
He has credentials.
Yeah, he has credentials. And he's very unassuming and doesn't talk about them until someone in one of his classes brings them up. But a couple of things they said was, the universe is not required to play by our expectations, but also the universe doesn't like to do things once. So,
She is a creature of habit.
Yes. So, do I think there's possibly other life out there? Yes. Do I think we will necessarily be able to communicate with them easily, or even understand their thought processes? Maybe, maybe not. And that's assuming they've gotten to the point where they are capable of speech. We could just run into other planets with bacteria on them, maybe plant life. There's no guarantee life has evolved on any other planet the same way it has on Earth. Of course, there's no reason to think that we're alone in our way of evolution either.
Mm-hmm.
So,
let's say that, I guess that brings me up to a hypothetical. I mean, do you think that there's so many things that could pan out, because I love conversations like this, because there's so much to it. Like, I like listening to Art Bell and all those guys and on Coast to Coast and stuff like that, and they always bring up really cool scenarios, people who have witnesses. And the thing I like about him is that he never questions anybody that calls on the show. Like he just wants to know their experience. You know, he's like,
Right.
He doesn't sit there and tell them, "Oh, you're a freaking idiot. That's not right." But because he doesn't know either, he's just acting as a voice.
Right.
So, I guess on basically what you just said, I mean, do you think the probability of the human race being the most evolved thing in the universe is possible, or at least our planet?
It's possible. I have no thought on how likely us being the most advanced, least advanced, or anywhere in the middle is.
Mm-hmm.
But if we are but the thing is that the likelihood of us finding life, we would probably have to find it on another second generation or greater generation star, like the sun, like
Mm-hmm.
our sun, because it is the earliest elements in the universe were hydrogen and helium. They don't do much by themselves, except for collapse and become fusion reactors that are suns, that are stars.
Mm-hmm.
You need to have the stars blow up a time or two to get the heavier elements to start doing the real cool chemistry. So they'd probably have to be on at least second or third generation suns. We would have to find, and ours is I believe we're a second generation sun, from what they've determined. So we would have to find at least another second generation sun that has planets that can support life, and we would have to be able to somehow recognize that life. And the easiest way for us to recognize another life form would be something that builds civilization in a way that we can understand, at least partially.
Mm-hmm.
They don't have to have like the same political structures or anything like that we do, but if they build objects, that would be our easiest way to figure out, that's another life form, that's another being that we might possibly be able to communicate with on some intelligent level, because they have the ability to build tools.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And the trick is just finding one, or being found by one if we aren't the most advanced and there's something out there that has taken to the stars for whatever reason, be it they took to the stars, because their planet was going to blow up because their sun is later in its life cycle than ours. And even if they went in a slower than light ship, but one capable of basically of making
sustaining life,
a colony ship,
Yeah,
as
yeah.
they're often called in sci-fi, or if they figured out how to break physics and go faster, or at least really, really close to the speed of light, to make the journeys not so unbearably long.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it would be finding it is the biggest trick. Whether they come to us or we end up going to them, that it's going to be finding it, identifying it, and then be able to communicate in some way with them.
Well, I'm fully on the page that somebody's going to make contact with us first. Granted, if it happens.
Yeah.
I mean, there's also the likelihood that it's all bullshit, and maybe we are the only ones in the universe, but I highly doubt it.
Yeah. I highly doubt at least we are the only life.
Right.
And percentage-wise, it's really doubtful that we're the only sentient life.
Yeah. Mike, anything on that?
Well, and like I was saying, statistically wise, I don't think it's possible we're the only life. Sentient life, yeah, I mean, there's no way of really knowing on that one. That's we'll know if we find it, and until then, we don't have any way to know either way.
Let me ask you: do you think if contact does make us, do you think we'll end up in a Independence Day type scenario, or we'll end up in a contact type scenario?
We'd probably freak our heads off.
Well, I'm sure people would lose their shit at first. Either way, no matter if it was if it was peaceful or violent, people would just lose it immediately. Simply because it would be inherently paradigm shattering for everyone. You know, you can't just say, oh, it's going to be paradigm shattering for the religious people or the secularists or anyone. If we really make contact with an alien species, extraterrestrial life, everyone's going to go, holy crap.
Yeah, and hopefully with the alien race that comes to us, and hopefully on the note that they're kind, quote unquote, right. They will recognize that before they get here. Like, you guys do know that once we land here, these guys are going to flip their fucking lids, right?
Yeah.
In fact, they may even shoot at us. I just want you to prepare you for that.
Humans? Oh, somebody's going to shoot at somebody. We're humans.
Mm-hmm.
I live in America. I've seen the Midwest. I know. Somebody's shooting somebody.
I'm just hoping that at least they'll monitor our planet for a while before they try to make contact with us, because I just exactly like you say, people are gonna flip their shit. I will flip my shit.
Oh, pretty much everyone will. It's not. I don't think there's going to be some person unless it's like some ultimate Zen master who's like, oh, the aliens have arrived, and goes back to meditating.
It's like, well, I waited for it.
Everyone's going to lose it at some level.
I agree. Yeah, I can't.
I mean, honestly, I would love to see Neil deGrasse Tyson losing it at the aliens. Because he's like one of the most famous astrophysicists in the world now. I just like to see him going, holy shit, aliens!
Yeah, but he'd be more excited, I think, than anything.
Well, yeah. But, I mean, still, he'd be to that point of just, he'd be losing it. He'd be excited, but...
Yeah, and him and Bill Nye both would be
Bill Nye would be awesome, too.
Yeah, they would just... like, oh. Yeah, that's funny.
Right. Well, on the note of them watching us before they make contact, I mean, who's to say that they haven't been watching us all along?
Well, yeah, I mean, there's people out there that will tell you they have been.
Yeah, eventually we get an email. Send more Beatles.
Yeah, what? Send more Beatles.
Yes. Music.
Oh, the
Beatles.
Band. I gotcha. Yes. I was like, well, I got plenty of Beatles in my backyard. But what was the first intergalactic broadcast that we sent out was one of Hitler's speeches, was it not?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's disturbing.
Thanks, Hitler. Appreciate it.
Yeah. Okay, so they're going to show up and just bomb us.
Like, wow, this race does not need to exist. Of course, then again, they'll be like, well, they're already killing themselves. Don't need to worry about it.
Let's just go down there after they're all dead and clean
exactly. I'm just trying to... There's so many different scenarios. I mean, now, I guess let's talk about what we commonly know right now. This is actually going to probably roll back on your Bigfoot thing. I mean, let's talk like alien sightings, crop circles, people being abducted and probed.
Yeah. Well, it's been proven that most crop circles have always been hoaxes. It's always been people flattening them. That's pretty much been proven.
And I would say if we're going to talk alien sightings, I would say pre-2000, because there is some friggin' amazing video editors out there.
Yeah.
And they can synchronize an alien sighting pretty easily, it seems like, these days.
Well, and also one thing is, with the term UFO.
Unidentified flying object.
Unidentified flying object. It doesn't mean it's alien. A spacecraft. It just means you can't tell what it is that's flying in the air. Mm-hmm. There's been a lot of UFO sightings over the southwestern United States. Funny that's where America tests new aircraft that we don't know what they are. That's where the night flights for the F-117As happened for decades before they released the fact that we had those to the public. Mm-hmm. So
you get those triangular formation of lights in the air, and oh, hey, look, now we got a B-2 bomber.
Yeah, funny. They're triangular.
Yeah, but
that most planes actually, if you look at them from the right angle, have a triangular formation.
But those triangular formations are sustaining a fixed point. They're not moving.
Sometimes. There's the problem with that is that if a plane is flying high enough,
and then not to mention after that they disappear.
Turn the lights off.
I know, but like in a quick motion.
Um,
Turns out it's just some guy in the cockpit going, "Steve, turn the fucking lights off, man."
Dude, it was supposed to be incognito.
yeah, but now there's part of that is that there's also a lot of optical illusions that the atmosphere can create.
Mm-hmm.
It's light refraction can make it look like something is standing still, and then all of a sudden disappears.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and it's due to your angle compared to the angle of the angle the thing's moving at compared to you, where your relative position and all kinds of stuff.
Do you think any of the alien sightings that are out there are legit? I mean, have you seen any sort of video evidence or anything like that online that you've just been like, "That's pretty good"?
No,
nothing
that I would say is legit.
Again, I think it just kind of goes along with the Bigfoot sighting stuff, where
it's
up to the interpreter, and and if you legitimately thought you saw an UFO, you're not
well, I'm like I said with the UFO, with the Bigfoot stuff, again with the UFO stuff, they fall into two camps: people who want attention,
mm-hmm.
and people who honestly believe that happened to them.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying the people that honestly believe it happened to them are correct on the identifiable, verifiable, provable levels, of objective reality, but to themselves, to their own hearts and minds, I cannot dispute that happened to them.
How about abductions?
Same thing. It's that same, again, attention seekers or people who honestly believe it happened. There's no verifiable proof that it's ever actually happened yet. And until, again, an alien shows up, and, lands on the, steps of the White House and says, "Hi, we're here."
Yeah.
I just, or we get a verifiable, like shot down, people could see it before the government can hide it or whatever, as the conspiracy theorists would say,
mm-hmm.
UFO or something. Until there's evidence that is released that can be verified, I am a skeptic.
So you don't think there's somebody in a government office just saying, "Hi, dude, just give him the weather balloon scenario again"?
I don't think so. And yeah, it's just one of those things where, like, if an alien ship did crash, like for the Area 51 and Roswell, New Mexico, if an alien ship crashed, and we had it since the 1950s, and it had any useful technology that we could have reverse engineered, we would have by now. And it would have been hard to hide it at this point.
Actually, I've seen an interesting theory on that. Apparently, a lot of the technologies we have nowadays were actually reverse engineered, and then they slowly released it to the public. Yeah. Like fiber optics, like night vision goggles. There's like a few specific examples that I saw.
Really not. Also, I would like to point out that I am one of the people that likes to give humans credit for being smart. At least as individuals who can create these things.
Well, there's nothing stupid about reverse engineering things either.
Well, no, but
there's nothing really stupid about cyber or fiber optics either. I mean, that's you get from just somebody playing around in a lab and they realize, oh, hey, if I shine light here, we get a light down at the other end of this. We can use that. People get these ideas. So
So that's I don't like to sell humanity short, which is one of the problems I have with a lot of alien conspiracies. Is like, oh, we got all of our technology from them and stuff. Is that it's selling humans short. Like one of the ones that really buggers me about it is the aliens made the pyramids. No, humans made the damn pyramids. I don't care if you're talking about the ones in Egypt or the ones in South America. Humans made the damn pyramids. We're smart enough.
Mm-hmm. And powerful enough.
Mm-hmm. You crack a whip on 100 million people, and they'll move that brick.
May have been slow, but damn it, it worked.
Considering that we can't build a pyramid with our modern technology, and the Egyptians pulled off building pyramids, and got them done relatively quickly, because they only had from when the last pharaoh died to when the next pharaoh died to make a pyramid. They could accomplish a lot. And just because we can't do it now doesn't mean humans never could. And we're
It's just we have laws against slavery now, so
actually
Yeah.
they've come to find out it was mostly actually volunteer workers at pyramids.
okay.
They were paid. They were paid workers. It wasn't the best job in Egypt necessarily, but they were a lot of them were paid workers. And also, Egypt was a very enlightened country. It was a valid excuse to miss work occasionally to go drinking with your friends. I'm calling in drunk today. Bye, basically.
That would not fly.
Yeah, we are so not as enlightened anymore.
So if the aliens do show up, we'd be like, hey, can you bring the Egyptians back? We need them.
Why? They were smart. They were allowed to take days off to drink.
We just as a one quick update, we got one reply, and it was from my wife.
Oh, okay. Hi, Miss Jennifer.
She says, "I'm assuming my name could come up in this one." And honestly, I wasn't going to, but since she said something, no, I will. But my wife, one of her phobias is aliens, and not necessarily like the Predator, aliens movies, like stuff like that, but specifically the Greys.
Right.
The little gray green men, big eyes,
Big heads,
small
big
bodies,
eyes,
elongated body parts. That shit freaks the fuck out of her.
They are creepy looking. They don't freak me out completely, but they are creepy looking.
But yeah, I could see that. But to me, it's weird because of all the aliens that have been portrayed in film, they look physically the weakest. Like you could blow on them and they would fall over. So I don't. It's just kind of odd to me. But I could see. But they are just generally creepy.
Yeah.
I mean, as far as looks go, and
I was especially if you see it seemed like how they used them in the X-Files, genuinely creepy in the X-Files.
that's true too. But then who was the? But they had a good one in Stargate SG-1. So I can't remember his name.
The Asgardians. I don't remember.
But I can't. But there was one that was like on SG-1 that was helping them all.
I don't remember. Yeah, I don't remember his name.
For some reason, I want to say Worf or something like that. But it was.
No.
I know it wasn't Worf, but I mean it's some. It's kind of like one of those one-syllable type words.
Yeah.
Daw.
Nothing.
It'll be daw.
No, nothing.
Daw. No.
Anyway, that's why she was wondering if I'd bring her up. But yeah. Anyway,
Yeah.
sorry, I just outed your phobia. Sorry.
Excellent. Now
okay.
I know what to wear for a Halloween costume. No, just kidding.
No. When I was a kid, Greys freaked me the fuck out. Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm not saying I wouldn't shit myself if I saw one in real life.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
See, I'm hoping for an Asari. Okay with a gray. Don't want a xenomorph.
No xenomorphs.
No xenomorphs.
Yeah, xenomorphs would be bad, especially with acid blood. Mm.
Acid blood, metal claws, mouths inside their mouths.
So it would really suck if they looked just like the xenomorphs, but they were peaceful.
That would get them shot at.
Yeah, we wouldn't buy it. Nobody would buy it. We ruined it for them.
It's funny because that's funny you bring that up because I'm thinking like along the lines of predators who seem like they're on the intelligent side of things.
Well, predators are smart. They are intelligent.
Right, but okay, like my point being is they're on that, like there's different personality types for predators, or
Yeah.
for humans.
Right.
Some are artists, some are government, but it seems like predators are just 100% warrior, murder, death, kill. None of them seem to have like a. Do any of them paint for a hobby?
I don't know.
You know what I mean?
Maybe in their opponent's blood. Well, a lot of times aliens are given like they kind of become very monocultured. Like there's this one
Yeah.
aspect of their culture that becomes what is
Their
always
identity.
their identity and what is portrayed in anything sci-fi. Which I mean that everywhere is really guilty of that. Like I can't think of a sci-fi thing that isn't at least partially guilty of it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because like Star Wars is guilty of it. Aliens are they do this one thing, and that's what the whole race is stereotyped as. Star Trek is the same way. Star Trek makes attempts to not be that way, but they still kind of do that.
Well, and like on that note, even like in Star Trek, like somebody like a character like Worf's who's Klingon, his entire race is like very warrior based, like very traditional, set in their ways, and he is like that. But he also as his character, especially working for the Federation, tends to break that mold.
Right. Well, he was also raised by humans.
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Well, he was kicked out of the.
No, he was raised from tiny kid by humans. He was adopted. He was he was an orphan. But like, and the thing is like, warrior cultures exist on Earth or have existed on Earth. Like feudal era Japan, when the samurai ran everything. The Spartans are a Western example of that.
But there had to be somebody within that
Right.
society that was not necessarily violent, but was governing enough or artistic enough to.
Well, like
bring that
usually
stuff
in warrior
forward.
societies, he who is the best with the blade is the leader, essentially. In Japan, the daimyo, the rulers, were politically and militarily astute people. In Sparta, it was the same way. And that's what you see, but you don't see, because like farmers are boring. Let's just face it. Like you don't like when you're talking about telling a story using aliens and sci-fi or whatever. I don't give a damn about the farmers. They're boring. I mean, and no offense to real farmers that might be out there.
You're boring.
The job is totally and utterly essential for human society and, by extension, in a way, alien societies to survive. But the day-to-day operations of farms and the middle management of the government is not interesting on the story level. Like, you could have something happen at that kind of lower level of, and bring a good story out of it that is interesting, because you don't need the high concept of meeting the military or the great leaders to make a good story all the time. But that's where it's easier to make a more interesting story. But a 2-hour film about a guy running a farm, no offense, that's called a documentary and would be kind of a boring one.
Don't you guys just like 8-foot tall predators just
sowing a field
and
So what you
raising
guys are,
alien cows.
you guys are making me remember. There was a robot chicken they did where they had predator hippies.
Oh God, yes.
Yeah.
Well, you kind of got the dreadlock thing going.
Yeah. Oh man, that was horrible.
Predator. Hippies.
Predator hippies. So they were doing just think of like when you chain yourself to a tree as a hippie to save the trees, It was kind of like that, but saving the humans from being hunted.
That is kind of funny.
Yeah.
But wait.
What? We got something?
I think so.
We get a hit?
We did.
They drop a nuke on us?
Well, not that kind of hit.
Oh.
But okay, coming from Scott Violet, the Padre-in-law, he says, interstellar travel could be a problem. What if we are talking about the little green interdenominational beings that we are seeing not from other planets? And what if ourselves or aliens planted here by off-worlders as a colonization project?
We are the 13th colony from Battlestar Galactica.
I can go with that. I'm good.
That would be interesting.
Some of them Cylons are sexy, man. Hell yeah.
Take that idea. I mean,
They'd have a psychotic rage to destroy all humans.
Nobody's perfect.
And what we would know, it's funny because if you think about that, because if you're going into like past generations and what, like early tribal type societies would have considered gods, that's kind of what the ancient aliens thing kind of rolls over.
Yeah.
But if we were placed here to colonize the planet as an experiment, that's a hell of a concept. I mean, that's way out there, but if that's what I'm asking, I guess, is if hypothetical, there would have been these aliens, quote unquote, that would have been maybe determined to be gods or something like that. Ancient Alien says that, you know, there was the elongated heads from that became a popular style choice in multiple cultures around the world to emulate their gods or their particular leaders at the time.
Right.
Egyptians were in that category. Mayans were in that category. Early Japan.
Yeah.
And China. So, I mean...
Tied the board to their heads.
Mm-hmm.
However, I would also like to point out that China doesn't get any pluses for body modification. They invented foot binding.
Yeah, fuck that.
Yeah.
That wasn't sexy, China. Not a sexy choice at all. Just putting that out there. Didn't even look good on paper. Don't even know why you even had it out there.
It wasn't even as good as it was communism. At least communism looked good on paper.
That's, yeah. Steve,
yeah.
gonna eat that? No. Okay.
I mean, if we were put here like as a colony, that's kind of interesting. Except for, I don't see why we would have lost our technology. Like, if we had already established the technology of interstellar travel, and we were dropped off as a colony, where did our technology go? Why did we have to start over from nothing?
How do we know we're not lab rats? Like,
I would say lab rats is a more likely scenario in that case.
Yeah, that's what
cultivated out of the DNA that was already existent on the planet.
That's what I'm saying. Like, we were probably said, okay, let's create life on this planet. We're a big fucking video game right now.
Why is there this green diamond over my head all of a sudden?
Oh, Jesus.
Well, the biggest problem I got with that is evolution is too long a process, and we got too much evidence of evolution taking place that
it's also too random of a process.
Yeah, it's way too random a process. I mean, there's no way they could have just dropped off some DNAs or set up some sort of critter somewhere and went, okay, evolve, and
let's see what happens.
Became us. You know, it's just there's too many factors involved.
What about it would be a hell of an argument for creationism. Like, if you dropped off, Mason's anthro brain just popped by me even bringing up the idea. It's like, no, it hurts too much.
We're leaving you here, and you're going to evolve like this, and that is how we created you.
I don't know if they dropped their little magic potion into the primordial ooze, and that's how they knew it would turn out. I don't know. I'm just
shitty potion. Just saying.
Yeah, somebody forgot to carry the one there.
Yeah. Oh. That took how many billions of... Oh, damn it.
Steve, did you forget the protein again? What?
Yeah.
Damn it. All right, let's start from the beginning.
Yeah. The DNA evidence, the cross-species DNA evidence, and the evidence of the randomness and time it takes to cause for evolution to happen really points against that. Simple biology.
I agree. I'm just...
Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah, I don't think we were experiments or...
Let me ask, does your anthropology class ever touch on the idea of aliens at all?
Oh, hell no.
No?
There's no scientific proof for aliens.
Nothing dug up that you would have been like, what the fuck is this?
No.
No? All right, well, it's worth a shot of asking, I guess.
No.
Makes a good story. That's about it.
Yeah. And... Yeah, it's I don't know if I'm sure there are anthropologists out there just like everyone else that says there's absolutely no chance of there being aliens. But a lot of anthropologists and our scientists that I know are completely open to the idea that there are aliens. Mm-hmm. It's just we have no way of gauging anything about them right now until we, like I said earlier, we get out there or they come to us.
Mm-hmm.
So
We won't know until we know.
yep. Yeah.
And if they don't exist, we'll probably never know.
Right. Because the galaxy and the universe are really big places.
And we'll always have that thought of, well, they might be out there somewhere.
Yeah.
So
Even,
proving that they don't exist.
even if
is
somehow we become
probably-
masters of our own galaxy and we find there are no other aliens in our galaxy, if we would still have to then be able to cross the interstellar gap or the intergalactic gap
Mm-hmm.
to get to another galaxy. And that's a really long way. There's a lot of zeros at the end of that number to the nearest galaxy.
And it would take a lot of, just on a physical level, just to get from one end of that zero to the other end of the zeros
Yeah.
would be very, very long.
And that's in a really small font.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's, the likelihood of ever finding anything in our own galaxy, excuse me, in our own galaxy is relatively low. And then if we do somehow become masters of our galaxy, find out, if we truly are the only thing in our galaxy, and then step beyond that and try to figure out for another galaxy, getting to another galaxy would just be exponentially harder than getting to another solar system in our own galaxy. So we would still always have the question, is there an alien life form in Tau Ceti galaxy? So
Yep.
Well, excellent.
Yeah.
Trying to think of any other.
Or they could
ideas.
just show up on our doorstep tomorrow and be like, hey, we're here.
yeah.
We'll be like, cool, we talked about it last night.
What about Men in Black's a concept that comes up among conspiracy theorists? I know it's a fun movie, but
Yeah, I
I'm
was saying,
just
it's
talking
a-
like the
it's-
actual Men in Black, though. Like if there's actually people out there covering it up.
Yeah, we hold a few patents.
Yeah. Okay. I can't say I'm sure, but if I were to be an alien, or a human going to another planet, Dusty being an alien on that planet,
That's another thing I like is the concept that we could be aliens to somebody else.
well, we are.
I know. We're already aliens to other countries, let alone
Right.
other planets.
Yeah, we are aliens. We just don't know who we're alien to yet.
Right. I would initially, I would do scouting missions. I would scout the place out, kind of pull the Prime Directive thing, find out their technology level, make sure they're to state that they're not too impressionable as to worship me as a god, because I don't have that kind of ego. And also to a point, and also figure out A, how to communicate with them, being an important one. B, could they handle knowing about us yet? And then if I decided that if I could figure out how communication and that they could handle knowing about us, I would not just show up and go, we're here.
Yeah, you would want to communicate with the people who are conducting the research and stuff
Yeah,
like that.
I would try to get a hold of top level scientists, government officials, people with some kind of power, or more important than power, knowledge. That's why scientists would be above my list. In fact, with the way some governments are going right now on Earth, I might put raving psychotic maniacs and and certifiable lunatics ahead of politicians on the people I will contact. But I would contact scientists first, definitely, because they're the ones who are usually most open to new ideas.
Yeah, especially astrophysicists and stuff like that.
Right.
People who are
Astrophysicists,
directly in
biologists,
Yeah.
people, and make contact with them first and slowly let it out.
Contact Neil.
Yeah.
Let him be the first to know.
Or Bill Nye.
Or Bill Nye.
Well, that
Steve-
worked, yeah.
Or Stephen Hawking. Really, that would be okay too.
That's Stephen Hawking's at that point where he's just constantly on his deathbed. He'd be like, his last words on his little keyboard would be like, "I fucking knew it," and then he'd kick over.
Yeah. But it would give him the satisfaction.
Yeah. It's like, he's like, I can die happy now.
Yeah. But yeah, so, it would be a slow process of contact. I wouldn't just, show up in the middle and go, show up in the middle of like, Central Park at noon on a Saturday and go, we're here, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
That is not a good idea.
And watch the chaos and mayhem commence.
Now,
Okay, might be on my
show.
Yeah, so it might depend on my mood that day.
now, what about the idea of? It's not likely, but what about the idea of aliens being basically human? Like Star Wars is a good example of that because in a galaxy far, far away, not necessarily here, but
Right.
there's obviously a human race on that who, ironically, still have very human names like Luke and Leia, which they.
Funny how that works in a
funny how
movie
that
made by
works. But do you think that's an idea? I mean, could there be human-styled aliens walking around us and we would never know it?
It's not impossible. I would say it would probably be closer to something like from Babylon 5 and the Centauri, who look very, very, very similar outwardly if we found them, but there would be biological differences.
And super crazy haircuts.
Yeah.
Or
Well, see,
maybe
but hair
they're-
can be changed. It's one of the wonderful things about hair.
Yeah.
It grows back.
Or we could have just, they're based on other elements, but still humanoid. I mean, why not?
Yeah. Well, that's part of
Get
my whole...
myself a heavy metal girlfriend. Booyah.
well, that's one of my things about, like, with the whole thing about, the galaxy doesn't like, the universe doesn't like to do things once, is that the humanoid shape's pretty useful when you are a technologically advanced creature.
Yeah, lots of nice little fingers
the
and
fingers. They're
a
kind of-
brain that knows how to compute
Yeah.
things. Which,
So, like, I kind of, the idea of almost all aliens being humanoid, like, as is put forth by most sci-fi, maybe not quite as many as they portray, but I don't see it being uncommon. Of course, go to Mass Effect, I also foresee things like the Hanar, which are giant floating jellyfish. You can't... not everything's going to, be a humanoid and be intelligent.
And sexy.
Yeah.
Well, they all do it. So,
I know. Hey, Kirk has to have sex with somebody, and he can't do it with her. She's black.
no, Jesus.
Okay.
Hey, I'm talking about the original series back from the 60s.
Hey, first on-screen interracial kiss.
I know. And they flubbed every alternate scene because they were supposed to do an alternate to where they didn't kiss, and they intentionally flubbed every filming of the alternate scene so that they were forced to use the kiss. So, oops. Props to Nichelle Nichols and William Shatner on that one.
God bless you too. That's hot.
Lol. Yeah.
What about the first
Although it's funny
interspecies
because
kiss?
it is a forced kiss too. I think that was part of the thing that they actually allowed it to play is because it was forced in the story.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
still, yeah, definitely groundbreaking.
I wonder what movie was the first like interspecies human alien kiss. Here's something to just melt your brain there real quick. Like Worf and from Deep Space Nine had that one chick.
Worf and Tasha on DS9, or not on Deep Space Nine, on
That
TNG.
definitely wasn't.
TNG, but they weren't
I
romantically
mean, they were doing
connected,
stuff like
though.
that in the 70s.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, something from the 70s or 60s because Kirk was getting
I mean,
busy
I got
with-
Barbarella on top of my head right now. I'm trying to think back further, but yeah.
Kirk probably in the 60s because he was like kissing the green chick and stuff. Okay, they were all just humans with body paint, but hey, Star Trek had a low budget.
You can do what you can afford.
Yeah.
Yeah. Man, is there anything?
Was it?
Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say I've noticed that it was always a big deal. Like the first time I realized that it wasn't a big deal in any kind of media was Mass Effect.
What, aliens and humans?
Cross species relationships. Because like I was thinking about it and You don't see any cross-species relationships in Star Trek or Star Wars, or really in Star Trek, with the exception of Vulcans and humans.
Well, and
And
there
the
was.
occasional
But
Klingon.
what if it's?
And the occasional Klingon.
But there was. God, I wish I could remember. Deep Space Nine, the chick who had like the kind of tattoo pattern on the side of her face.
Dax.
Dax.
She's a Trill.
Huh?
She's a Trill. Trill are a symbiote that is implanted into a host.
Still human though.
I believe that the host body was a human, yes.
Okay, so it was her and Worf had an ongoing relationship in that series.
Oh, they did? Okay.
Yeah.
that's
They
true.
liked to beat the shit out of each other in the holodecks and then
Yeah, that was
make
their
mad
foreplay.
love afterwards.
Okay.
She was very interested in his warrior brain.
Okay.
Because she was very warrior herself. And
Okay. But again, I never paid that great of attention to Star Trek comparatively.
neither did I really. I just happened to
But
know
like,
that.
I was also like in B5, like Sheridan and oh my god, I don't believe I just forgot her name.
Doo-doo-doo. Quilliar? Q1. I don't know.
The Minbari. She's the Minbari. in that
Mbari.
series.
Okay, was her name start with a Q?
No.
Why am I thinking Q?
Shit, now I know too.
With the
That's
mask,
gonna bug
yeah.
me.
Oh my god! And I watched an episode of B5 today.
Here, let's solve this right now. Continue to speak, and I'll try and figure this out here.
La la la. Okay.
Oh my god! I believe I just forgot it.
But yeah,
But like they made there was always a big deal made about their relationship
yeah.
by both the Minbari and the humans.
That's right. They had the like bone skull,
Yes.
and then she was half human though, wasn't she? Because she had hair.
Long convoluted story, but no, she was only very partially human.
What the hell am I thinking about? I don't know. Anyway.
She was a Minbari, but she was part of the line of Minbari that Sinclair started, and he was a Minbari, not bored of Minbari, because Sinclair was a human, and he called himself Valen. Started their whole religion and everything. And she was a descendant of Valen. So she had partial human DNA. But that's how the thing that she used to turn herself to look half human worked, was because she was of Sinclair's DNA. And it was the same device he used to turn himself, to make himself look like a Minbari.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's complicated and wibbly wobbly, timey wimey.
just I just in looking for this, I'm just going to point this out. This is, God damn you, internet. One of them this is on the Babylon 5 wiki. One of the most notable differences is that the Minbari females do not menstruate. That's the first line I read.
Wow, okay.
It's like,
I get into sci-fi lore when I like it, but
fantastic.
I don't research things like that.
No. Okay, so what were in Mass Effect? Yes,
But in Mass Effect, like, there was like individuals would have had they showed like some individuals having problems with interspecies relationships, but overall the galaxy didn't give a crap.
Yeah, yeah,
You know, it's like, oh, you're dating an Asari.
and your characters had relations with
Yeah,
alien species.
yeah. And
Delenn. Yeah.
Yes, Delenn. Oh, I don't believe I forgot Delenn.
Okay. Now we're back on track.
Yes.
Same.
But yeah, but in Mass Effect, like, it showed the difference between like societal condemnation and individual condemnation of things like that. Like, there's times like when in Mass Effect 3, there's a human talking to Minbari, to an Asari, about getting her daughter sent back to the Asari family, because her parents won't accept it, because her parents couldn't accept her dating an Asari or marrying an Asari. You know, and that's like an individual family having the problem. But as an overall thing, you know, it was accepted in Mass Effect's greater society that they didn't care. You know, you could, you know, if you were physically capable of it, you could get it on with any species, and they were okay with it.
Yeah. Well, they had that whole race was basically about getting it on with whoever they could, and
For genetic diversity, yeah.
yeah,
Well, and even in Doctor Who in the first seasons. They were talking like in the year 5 billion when they first come across the chick who's basically pulled out like a piece of jerky. I can't remember.
Oh, the last human.
Yeah,
Yes.
the last human. But they mentioned in that episode somewhere that humans have they've migrated and they've crossbred with other species. So there's no 100% human left in the world. She's the last one,
except for her and technically Rose. But
but she's from a different time,
right?
So that doesn't count.
That's cheating.
Yeah, that's dirty, rotten cheating. But
Doctor cheats. We love it.
Mm-hmm. That's one of his rules.
Yeah.
Yep. Doctor lies, doctor cheats.
Yep.
He doesn't do it in any ill will.
No.
He's... Wow. Off topic.
Bam.
Time travelers.
Doctor Who's an alien. He's part of the topic.
Yes, and he's human-ish.
Boyd.
Actually, humans look like Gallifreyans.
Oh, yeah, according to... Well, maybe we're the lab rats for Gallifrey.
Well, we're not. We're not lab rats for Gallifrey. It's just we evolved looking like the Gallifreyans because the Gallifreyans were the template for all other species.
Some of those species fell way off the map.
Yeah.
All I have to say is, where's my second part?
Cthulhu got a hold of them first.
Small.
Solarians. Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Well, we pretty much covered a whole lot of the bases here.
Mm-hmm. Well, getting on time travel, I mean, I know I've heard it mentioned before that maybe the Greys are actually humans from the future.
Yeah, I've heard that one too.
Like the super hyper advanced humans that are traveling back in time and studying their own history.
We got uglier and stopped wearing clothes?
We didn't.
Well, by our
standards, we got uglier. But by our future self, as we're then Greys standards, we would look better as Greys than we would as our primitive ape-like ancestors that we are now.
And some of the abduction testimony where, like, the Greys are having sex with the abductees and stuff. I mean, it's, they're just trying to get their bang on with their, I don't know, what did you call that?
Ancestor?
Ancestrology? I don't
No,
know.
I know.
Turns out you're my grandmother to the 100th billionth power.
Ancestriophilia?
Ancestrophilia. I know. I'm not going to think about this.
It's
a really extreme geriatrophilia, evidently.
Turns out you're my great times 1,000 million grandmother, and
so what does that make us? Absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
Lol.
The genetic code is so diluted at this point. You're not even
the genetic code is so changed and mutated at this point that nothing.
Be like Fry, be your own grandpa.
Ooh, that's disturbing. Terminator kind of touched on that subject too, where John Connor met his own father, even though he was older than he was, and he kind of Kyle, I believe was his name in the first Terminator. John Connor sends
and
Kyle back to
he goes and saves his father, basically.
Bangs his mother. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. Well, I had to save you because you gotta go back in time and have sex with my mom. What?
I was gonna say you'd think he would have had to know that before he sent him back.
Nope. Well, he knew it, but when he sent him back, yeah, definitely. John Connor knew at the time. That's why he sent him back.
I want to live.
Yeah. You got to bring me into this world, boy. Go bang my mom.
But at the same time, if he said something to him, then it gets all weird and stuff.
Yeah.
Like, wait, I can't do this, Matt. No, I can't. I can't perform now. That's it. I'm out.
Well, and plus, if he says something that could alter the future, so you wouldn't want.
Yeah, but
alter their reality.
I was gonna say, if you are, when it comes to Terminator, wouldn't you want to alter that future? Wouldn't you want to tell somebody to go back and not hit the power button to turn that computer on, to turn on Skynet? I'm just saying.
Skynet. I wonder if they're run by Sky Mall. Think about that.
No.
Lots of cool products, robotic arms. Who knows?
I wouldn't be surprised if they got the name Sky Mall from Skynet.
Which came first?
I have no idea. Probably Sky Mall.
Yeah.
Really?
I think so, because it's selling stuff on an airplane through a mail order catalog.
Commerce.
Right. Okay.
It's like QVC on a plane.
That's true. I remember being on a kid looking at the weird catalogs on the plane and magazine. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. All right. I guess I'll concede that one. God. I was rooting for Skynet there.
How about this one? Ready?
Yes.
Military jet fighters and commercial airliners that have seen quote-unquote alien spacecraft. Because that's like point-blank range at that point almost.
Yeah. Everyone.
Let's
can
make
have
this
an
the last
hallucination.
subject because it's getting late.
Yeah, everyone can have
Yeah.
an hallucination.
Mm-hmm.
You don't know how many drinks the pilot had before he got on that plane.
Exactly. You're flying a bit irregular. What's going on? There's a UFO. Yeah, it's a spaceship out here, man. I'm trying to avoid it.
3 mile wide spaceship that I can't get across.
Come on, Joe, pack me up here. Come on.
Yeah. Steve is Steve.
Steve's drunk. I'm not gonna hide it anymore. Steve's drunk.
He knocked me out and I can't see. Why are you speaking?
Oh, yeah, we failed that one.
It's.
But
I believe they saw something. Whether it was something was really there or not, they saw something.
Mm.
and they could have seen something that wasn't necessarily a spaceship. I mean,
yeah, and how usually, how every time I've heard them see something, their instrumentation is either going wild or not picking it up. At some point, you have to say we'd have something that could detect aliens, because it's really hard to hide an aircraft from everything.
And we got shit pointed out in space
Yeah,
constantly.
yeah.
We would know.
Of course, then again, it comes, a line from Armageddon comes to mind. There's a lot of fucking sky, sir.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or there's a lot of fucking sky, Mr. President.
Yeah. And not to mention the amount of shit we have to deal with that comes through space.
Yeah.
Too is probably aliens are probably on the back end of that list. Even though it's
and plus, because it's something I would do if I was an alien observing a different species. I would do things like hide behind asteroids and meteors.
dark side of the moon, baby.
Yeah, hide behind the moon. There's a lot of stuff you can do to not be seen.
yeah. Shh, can't see me.
Like putting a big fucking physical object between you and the.
Well, to me, the moon seems like the perfect hiding spot. Like, if you're gonna hide someplace, hide on the part of a friggin' satellite that never faces the planet.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, and I'm not trying to get all Transformer on this one, but I mean that's how they did it.
Yeah.
But,
No, it's not a stupid plan, is the thing.
Mm-hmm.
If you look at, the thing is that that's a standard page from naval warfare, or even ground warfare. If I can put something directly between me and another guy, he can't see me.
Steve, there's a really big rock over there. Go park the submarine.
Well, with submarines, they use thermal layers to bounce the sonar off of them, but because when you change the water densities at a thermal layer, the sonar can't penetrate it very well. Okay, I know way too much about
You
submarines.
fucking geek. Just kidding.
Hey, I loved the game Silent Service, and I learned how to play that game to the max.
But yeah.
I'm guessing that's a discussion for another time. I've never heard that game before.
It was a Nintendo submarine game.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, and
Hey, I had my rad. He can have his submarine game.
I never said it was a bad game though.
Silent Service was actually really complex for its time. But because it had the thermal layers, and you could dive down below them to try to avoid the destroyers that were coming after you you torpedoed merchant ships and stuff, and to hide from their sonar so they would think you're not there anymore, things like that. And, yeah. Of course, I don't know why the U.S. military or any other military never thought of this tactic, or if they did, why they didn't allow people to do it, because it could work, is you run your submarine at them backwards, use your aft tubes to fire the torpedoes, and then run the hell away. So you don't have to turn around to be facing away from them where you can go faster. You go at them, go in the direction you can't go very fast, and then you run away after you shoot the torpedoes. But that's just me.
Well, maybe you should have been a submarine commander.
Maybe I should have. We'll never know now. I'm too old to join the military.
I mean, what do you got to do? Sit in a tube underwater for... Yeah.
Oh, right. There's that whole sit in a tube underwater for 6 months at a time.
I don't know if I can do
With
that.
all them seamen.
You.
And they having to rise to the rank of at least commander to be put in to become a captain of a submarine. That takes a few years. Like, a few years. I think at least 12, actually. So, and that's when you start out as an officer, as an ensign. So,
okay, thank you. You owned me. I'm sorry. I'm sorry I suggested it.
have the haircut now.
You
though.
could
that kind of
do
sucks.
it by the time you're 80. Come on.
Yeah.
Go backwards. Shoot the torpedoes. Sir, we're not at war.
Sir,
that
Says
nuke.
you.
Sir, the nukes are obsolete now.
doesn't mean they don't work.
we legitimately have photon torpedoes now.
Awesome. Fire some of those.
Yeah. That sounds destructive. All right, so should we wrap it up here?
Yeah.
We're going to wrap
Yeah,
up our
we're-
alien show on naval
Submarines.
tactics.
Yes. Video game naval tactics.
All right, well, thank you for joining us one more time. Next week, again, we're going to continue with our themed shows for the Halloween season. Next week will be ghosts, spirits, apparitions.
And bad TV shows concerning such things.
And bad, reality TV shows, which I don't care what you say. I enjoy them. That revolve around those. So yeah, we hope you guys come around next week, and we'll talk about that. Hopefully, we'll have another 4-man show next week. I don't know Jake's schedule ahead of time. He said he'd try and get a hold of me.
Okay.
Anyway, we do have several places you can reach us. You can reach us on our Facebook page.
Facebook.com/nerdeffect.
Yes. We actually have nerdeffect.com too. Imagine that.
Yes.
We have Twitter, nerdeffect at nerdeffectpod. You can find us on Google Plus.
Not that there's anything on Google Plus because it's Google Plus, but we're there.
We got our new logo and stuff up there now.
Okay.
And stuff.
Yeah.
And I think we have Nikki as our one single follower on the page right now.
I guess I should go follow it.
Yeah. If you got 5 minutes to spare, just go click on that follow button on Google Plus.
Yeah,
So many good
follow it
ideas.
and
The
spam
problem
us
is you were
everything
so
I can
late to the
find on
party.
Google.
And you can always reach us at feedback@nerdeffect.com, which I want you guys to use religiously. Send us, especially after this show, send us your alien stuff. Send us your alien theories or facts or what you feel like you know. Maybe you've experienced something. We want to hear from you. You, the listener, because we love you.
Yes.
Long time.
Like an alien loves a butt probe. So again,
Oh, we're
Do not
ending
run.
the show.
We are your friends.
whatever, Mars Attacks.
Hey, that was an awesome movie.
It was a great movie.
Yeah. Especially the musical right at the end.
Oh, that music hurt my brain too. I know why their heads exploded.
So again, feedback@nerdeffect.com. You can also stalk us personally with our personal email addresses. Dustin@nerdeffect.com, and I'll be goddamned if we didn't get Mike an email address.
Yay!
What is it, Mike?
So it is Mike@nerdeffect.com.
And you can also stalk
Mason@nerdeffect.com.
damn Skippy. And Jake@nerdeffect.com. Send him an email. Say, hey, we miss you. We love you. We want to hear your sweet, 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 sweet velvety voice back on the microphone. Anyway, again, Dustin from Nerd Effect. Let's redo that. For nerdeffect.com, we are,
Michael Morgan.
Mason Ireland.
and I am Dustin VanCour. We'll catch you guys again next week with the spooky stuff.
Bye.